Nikkei Asia News Roundup
with Jada and Brian. Welcome to the Nikkei Asia News Roundup with your hosts, Jada and Brian.
bringing you the latest updates and insights on the dynamic world of Asia and more.
Now let's delve into the headlines. This program is brought to you by Nikkei.
The race is heating up among top running shoe brands for elite marathoners, as evident at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, where shoemaker ASICS was on full display, and Nike's reign as the marathoner super shoe champion appears to be at a turning point as rival brands come up with alternatives.
With its planned stake in Intel, the U.S. government under President Donald Trump seeks to revitalize a strong domestic player in a strategically critical field, hoping to replicate the public-private model that brought TSMC success.
More Chinese are visiting Japan as solo travelers, with around 1 in 4 making their trips alone in the April-June period, a share that is higher than that of visitors from other regions.
Industry players say the startup ecosystem in the Philippines is at a critical juncture, held back by persistent structural challenges that can feel more like an obstacle course than a launch pad.
Toyota Motor is expanding a wide-ranging effort to cut down on unnecessary parts to improve productivity and add capacity as part of its efficiency initiative dubbed Area 35, which aims to use 35% less space at factories. This has cut the number of parts by 80% in some cases.
Across Asia, destination dining is on the rise as more travelers seek unique culinary experiences, especially with the Instagram effect fueling interest, and many spots in the region embracing the concept by creating high-profile restaurants. Now moving on to the next segment.
Ho Chi Minh City's expansion highlights challenge of state reform. In July, Ho Chi Minh City swallowed up 2 provinces as it moves to become a megacity and a testing ground for Vietnam's seismic effort to reshape the entire government. 2 months in, officials say an influx of investment shows the business hub is off to a good start, but they admit to strains that threaten the city's economic growth target of 10%. The country's efficiency drive, which involves merging 63 provinces and cities into 34 administrative units and dismissing 20% of civil servants to slash bureaucracy, will affect which leaders make it to the 2026 Communist Party Congress, as well as Vietnam's appeal as an alternative to China for manufacturing. It is meant to turn around a governmental machine sputtering under a corruption crackdown that has discouraged officials from making decisions. But land clearance is a symptom of the rough transition in Ho Chi Minh City. Communes reportedly are struggling to prepare real estate for development. They are in disarray and, quote, lack staff, regulatory coordination, and flexibility to solve investment problems, according to the city website.
Australia releases guidelines for world's first under-16 social media ban. Social media platforms will be expected to seek out and shut down the accounts of underage users in Australia and use multi-layered checks to prevent children under 16 from signing back up to comply with an impending teen social media ban, official guidelines released this month show. The companies will not be required to verify every Australian user's age, though they must take reasonable steps to ensure compliance, or face penalties of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars, or 33 million US dollars. The ban, intended to prevent harm to younger users, takes effect on December 10th, and will apply to some of the largest tech companies in the world, including Meta, owner of Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, X, and Alphabet, whose YouTube video sharing service is subject to the ban after a previous exemption was revoked. The 52-page document provides further details on the government's requirements of its world-first ban of children under 16 from the services. Advocates and political parties push the law as a necessary measure to protect younger Australians from the mental and psychological distress that can result from excessive social media use.
And now for news highlights. In this episode, Jada and I have a discussion about a recent article or articles that have particularly captured our attention.
And today we'd like to talk about the property sector in Japan, especially Tokyo. So we have one story about rents soaring in the capital of Tokyo, but also metropolitan cities like Osaka. One data says that average rents as a share of disposable income increased between 1 and 5 percentage points from 2020 to 2024. So that's reaching like 18% to 34%. And we both live in Tokyo, so I'm sure we feel the...
I'm waiting for the day when I have to renew my apartment contract and they say, hey, it's... going up a little bit because it's been the same for the whole time I've been there, but I'm wondering if that's going to happen because prices are going up. This is something that's been happening around the world.
Yeah,
you hear about
Australia, New York, everywhere, yeah.
And people talk about how Tokyo is relatively cheap. Emphasis on relatively.
Yeah.
Where apartments, they may not be the biggest apartments or the most lavish, but they are comparatively affordable in city centers. And that looks like it might be changing a little bit now.
Yeah.
One of the stories actually really goes into office rents, though. And that's an interesting one because there's a lot more offices going up.
Yes.
Tokyo's always changing. There's always construction around, but there's been some massive buildings that have gone up. And I believe one of them, there's this new skyscraper. I think it's the tallest building in Tokyo now. I have to confirm this, but I believe it is now one of the largest buildings in the world by office space because it's not the tallest, but it's very wide.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those buildings, and also people are working from home less.
Yeah.
And also a lot of companies are investing into moving into new offices, and that's setting up a cycle where things are getting more expensive.
Yes. And that's caused a real estate investment boom really in Tokyo. As you mentioned, a lot of people are going back to the office to work after COVID, the weak yen, low interest rates, that's all sort of fueling private equity funds and real estate funds to come to Japan. Another story we had actually has a figure for that. It says foreign investment in Japanese real estate in the first half of the year totaled almost $8 billion. So that's a lot.
Yeah, you have to ask, is that a lot? But yes, it is, because that is the largest first half figure since they started compiling data 20 years ago.
Yes, the highest ever, yeah.
And it gets a little technical here, but they talk about a thing called the yield gap, which I'll just read directly from the article. It's which measures real estate profitability by subtracting the long-term interest rate from investment yields. And they're finding that Tokyo got a higher yield gap, which is good for investing, than New York, Singapore, or London. And that's one of the reasons there's a lot of interest, because it's not just interest from Japanese investors, it's from other parts of the world.
True. And I think we had another story. This is also, there's a lot of numbers in here as well, but the property investment, well, actually, this is another figure, but for investment not only in Tokyo, but it's also rising for, as I said, Osaka and also Hokkaido, in some areas of Hokkaido, which is up north.
Yeah, this is there's a couple stories that mention this, but we also had one, actually it was a few weeks ago, but I'm pulling it back in because it's related to all this. There's a town in Hokkaido called Furano, which is kind of known as being a resort area, but sort of on the edge of the resort area.
Huge amounts of snow in the winter. Very beautiful.
That area, there's also like Niseko, which is also in Hokkaido, and that's been famous for decades now as
Yeah.
a ski resort area for a
Yeah.
lot of a disproportionate amount of Australian visitors.
Really?
I always found that fascinating. It's particularly Australian visitors that love that place. Everybody loves it. But also in Furano, it's had a major rise in the number of part-time accommodations, like Airbnb style. In Japanese, they're called minpaku.
Yeah.
And it's up something like it's up 20% from last year. And also the amount of the prices of condos in other places being sold in the area is up 30% in the last 5 years. That's a huge rise in just 5 years. And a lot of it is, one, for investment purposes. Like, as you see this around the rest of the world, people don't necessarily buy a place to live in it, but as it is to accrue value, wealth. But also they're renting them out as temporary accommodations. And that is there are some rules. Japan's pretty strict about that, actually, in comparison to a lot of other places. So it's an interesting balance of what's going on here with people not necessarily living there, but also profiting off of buying these places and then renting them out for a higher return. And I'm wondering if this Hokkaido town is a bellwether or an anomaly. And we'll probably find out within the next year or two, I think.
Yeah. There's actually another part of Japan now on the island of Kyushu, but Kumamoto is also seeing rents gradually rise because of the more apartments and condominiums being built, because TSMC, the world's biggest
The largest contract chip maker in the world.
is building a factory there. So it's kind of activated this whole construction boom and investment boom around Kumamoto Prefecture as well.
And that brings us to the close of today's episode.
We look forward to having you join up again for the next edition of the Nikkei Asia News Roundup.
Stay informed, stay curious. Until next time, I'm Jada.
And I'm Brian. See you again, and take care. This program is brought to you by Nikkei.